Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Actors Area. I'm your host, Sean Robert Grant. Thank you so much once again for joining me. So happy, so excited. Big changes unfolding for me. Big changes unfolding for my family, my wife, everybody around me. And it's because we just been putting our soul first. And without going too deep, what does that look like, you might ask? What does that look like? That means that you're taking more time to be and taking less time to be stuck in achievement mode, to be stuck in attempting to grab whatever you possibly can and get whatever you possibly can, only to realize that you're exhausted, because the real joy, the real success lies within you first, connecting to your divine essence, your I amness, as I like to call it. So that is what following your soul first looks like. Now, how does this tie into acting? Well, today is going to be one of the most valuable episodes that I've ever recorded, mainly because I'm going to share with you something that I am actually living at the moment that is so freeing, so liberating, so exhilarating, so eye-opening, that I really want you to benefit from what I'm benefiting from right now. So, if you're a millennial or a Generation Xer or a Generation Y or whatever it is, or if you've been alive in the past 20-something years, then you know that social media has become something that is absolutely skyrocketed in the world of pop culture today. And so it's become something that is so popularized that everybody has a Facebook, everybody has an Instagram, everybody has a Twitter, everybody is now starting to get a LinkedIn. And so I've been on this journey, this journey to awakening of late on a higher level of consciousness. And what's interesting is I received the inner nudge or the intuitive nudge to give up social media. Now I had to check because I love social media. And before I start telling you why to get off, I want to tell you how obsessed I was with social media before I entered this point of meditation and realized that, it wasn't something that I could sustain over a long period of time. Well, I could sustain it, but it wasn't something that was going to help me to be the very best that I could in the outside world as much as I was in the social media world. Okay, so let me just tell you, give you an idea of what social media meant for me. Whenever I'd wake up, first thing I'd do is, what can I post to help everybody else? Because see, in my mind, I thought I was helping people with social media. But in actuality, just dropped my mic. 1 second there. There we go. So I thought I was helping people, but in actuality, I was only draining my own energy. And part of me was looking for approval from the people that I was friends with on my social media. And so you can imagine the type of energy that would take from me. And, I didn't realize it. I knew that I had hit a bit of a threshold that I needed to find some kind of way to be able to move myself to a higher consciousness, but also start to do more with my career. But it just didn't feel like I had the time, right? So about a week ago, I think a little bit over a week, I was in meditation and it says it's time to release social media. And it didn't even say limit, like I got limit in the title. My higher self said flat out release it. And something came over me. The rest of that day, I felt this so deeply, I decided not to be involved with any of my social media. So I just stopped. And over the course of the next few days, I had the desire to get back on, but I didn't. Something told me like, no. And so when I tell you on the second day, when I decided to do that, on the second day when I decided to release my infatuation with Facebook, with Instagram, with LinkedIn, with Twitter, all of a sudden, my ability to create and to be productive just skyrocketed through the roof. And it was the most amazing thing I had ever experienced because it was something that I hadn't realized in a long time. And I thought to myself, wait a minute, something is unfolding here. Something is happening here. And then I realized it clicked. I wasn't spending my time on Facebook in the morning, in the afternoon, as I was getting ready to tell you before. Like I would get on in the morning, I would get on in the afternoon, I would get on like maybe 7 or 8 or 9 times throughout the day. That's not even counting anytime I got a notification. I'd be on it at night. I'd be on it while we were watching TV. I'd be on it before I went to bed. It would be the last thing I checked. It was consuming my life, guys and gals. It was consuming my life. And I just got to this place where my higher self had had enough. And it said, release it completely. And the thing is, in order to do something you've never done, you've got to give up something that you have, so to speak, right? Because two things can't exist. The creativity I'm experiencing now couldn't exist as I was, so zeroed in on social media. And the reason I tell you this is because you may even be at a point where you're stuck or might not be stuck, but you just need new ideas. You need fresh ideas as it relates to your career. Like you may need to go into a different direction, but the only way you can feel that divine essence is to withdraw from something that is a constant reiteration of comparing yourself to each and everybody. But the only way we can truly succeed is through connection, not comparison. So we find ourselves in this abyss of constantly seeking approval over and over and over from these people we don't even know. And I had time to dwell on it. And I even started this thing where I call the 90-day transformation challenge, Falling in Love with Right Now. It's on my YouTube channel right now. And I'm going to do 90 days of videos to show you what happens. One, when you release social media or you limit social media and you no longer live to just achieve, to get, to possess. You just are mindful and present each moment, right? You're mindful and present each moment. And it fares out so well, like this combination of stuff that's happening is just changing my level of consciousness and the way that I see the world, the way that I operate in the world, and it's bringing me so much joy. And it's the most amazing thing. It's the absolute most amazing thing that could have ever happened from a creative standpoint and now from a successful standpoint. When I tell you I'm getting done so much I'm getting done, I'm being creative on things that I wanted to dive into, but I just couldn't. I couldn't find the way to dive into it. So I'm like, man, this sucks. How do I fix this? And I fixed it. Well, I didn't fix it all. The divine fixed it all by me choosing to give up my addiction to Facebook, my addiction to Instagram and Twitter and LinkedIn. And so by doing that, I have just allowed myself to open up to so much creativity. And I'm like pulling stuff out of the archives, like revamping it to make it this just brand new shiny object. But I know for a fact that I could not do it if I didn't let social media go. And that's a life lesson I reiterated on. I want to reiterate I'm tongue tied. That's a life lesson I want to reiterate on now that I touched on earlier, is that sometimes you got to give something up to get something better in return. So that thing that's a part of your old story, social media, 12, 13 years, my old story, needed to go in order for me to really step in to this creative genius that I really feel like I am. And I needed that. I needed to release it, though, in order for that energy and in order for me to step into the flow of being that creative genius. And it's just been so good. And the reason I'm saying it's so good and saying that over and over, because I want you to experience the same thing. Now we can get into how this relates to you as an actor or actress or performer. See, there's this saying going around that, you know, as an actor, you have to have like this amazing social media. You know, as an actor, you have to have this many followers. And as an actor, you have to be like this recognizable. But then if you spend all that time doing that, here's where my mind started churning. If you spend all that time doing that, how is it that you're going to be able to focus on being the best actor or actress possible? Because your energy will be spent on your social media and not on ways to make your career come alive. And so what are we talking about? Getting out, being able to create and shoot content for yourself, building a website. I've basically revamped my entire website that basically shows you everything that I am, everything that I'm capable of as an actor, as a teacher, as a writer. SeanGrantActing.com if you want to check it out. But I'm in this place that's so amazing because I hadn't fixated myself on what I had been doing for the longest time, is trying to make myself visible through social media. Now, I realize there's so many opportunities. I can create my own stuff as I did in the past when you know I took some time off from social media. You know, I can write my own scripts. I can do so much. You know, it's amazing to see where this is potentially going the longer I stay off, because now nothing can trip me up. Nothing can distract me from accomplishing that goal of acting more, producing more, directing, writing, whatever it is, like creating my own films, like getting groups and crews together. Like nothing can stop me now, because that's what social media does, is it stops you. It stops you. It stops you from being the very best that you can be. That's why if you have the money to hire somebody to do it, that's probably the best thing to do for yourself, right? Is to have somebody, but to spend time on it over and over and invest energy is just no good. It's no good for me. It's no good for you. It's no good for any performer who wants to progress. And you see, now I realize why I couldn't do a lot of the stuff that I wanted to do, because I was so tied to this. Facebook was such a big part of my identity that I couldn't take it to the next level, because Facebook would be the thing that would derail me. And I know it sounds crazy, but it's so true. I can even think I would be writing and all of a sudden I get a Facebook notification and I'd stop to check it out. That's how addicted to it that I was. Now I write and the ideas just flow freely. And I don't think about being distracted by anything, right? That's where we need you to be. And if you're there, fantastic. I would love to hear how it affects your career by not having social media in your life. I would love. Write me on this podcast, write me at my email, my website, wherever it is. Let me know, because people need to know that this is something so big. This is something that's so important, and it affects the success that you have. It affects the creativity you have. More importantly, it affects the happiness you have. Because when you're off of social media, you're not comparing yourself. And so something else I realized, most actors starting out are super insecure. And it's nothing against them. You know, that's just who they are in their human development, their human evolution. So by being insecure, what do you think is going to happen when you see somebody posting about all the roles that they're booking? When you see somebody posting about the new agent they signed? When you see somebody posting about they're getting ready to fly across the country to film this and film that? What do you think is going to unfold with an insecure person? My laundry's done. Jealousy. Jealousy is what is going to unfold. And when you're jealous, you cannot build anything that is sustainable, right? Envy, jealousy, resentment, you cannot build something that is sustainable because it's not built on love. So if you're on Instagram and you see this one actor has 865,000 followers, you only have 1,500. If you're an insecure person, because like I said, that's the reality of it. We're insecure. A lot of times we get into acting because we need to be seen. We need to be validated. We need to be approved. But I'm telling you, as an insecure person or used to be insecure person or a person who needed approval, if you see this, it's going to affect you and make you to start comparing yourself. And you don't succeed through comparison. You succeed through connection. So you got to get back to that connection. So what does that mean? That means instead of spending 30 minutes on Facebook, I go for a walk for 30 minutes and I pray, I meditate, I talk out loud. I ask myself questions that I need help on. I walk in the woods. I go sit on the beach. I go sit under a tree. I journal. I do those things that give me the real creativity that I need in order to elevate myself and evolve to the place that I want to go. Right? So I'm not saying get rid of it altogether. Actually, I am. If you feel like you can come to that place where you can just stop, go for it. If not, gradually work your way up to a place where you may do an hour a day or a limited amount of time a day. Because I promise you, even if you give me 7 days, give me 7 days of no social media whatsoever, I guarantee you, your creative life, your career will just have so many transformations because you'll be getting so much stuff done. The energy you used to use scrolling through the feed, you know, and watching stories, which are so addicting on Instagram, now you're finding ways to implement in being the person, the individual that you desire to be. And guys, it is so exciting when you reach this point because, and I'm only 7 days in, who knows what's going to happen at like by the time I'm at 90 days, 45 days, even a month. Like there's so many ideas brewing in my head right now, in my heart as well. I'm so excited to share them because it's magical. This is what being a human being is all about. Not wishing you were in somebody else's shoes or doing what somebody else is doing. Once again, not comparison, but connection. Connection to our divine selves is how we succeed, right? Realizing that we are God. We are God having a human experience, right? We're not human beings having a spiritual experience. So if that went over your head, don't worry. I'll explain that later on down the road. But what I'm saying is you are powerful and you have everything you need to be a success. You have everything you need to create success. You have everything you need to create, more importantly, fulfillment, to be joyful, to be full of life as you wake up and do everything that you decide to do that's going to bring you happiness every single day of your life. 7 days, guys. Give me 7 days. Cold turkey. And if you're unable to do that, limit it to an hour. But I promise you, when you limit it, write down all the changes that unfold. Write down all the changes that start to happen, and I guarantee you will be blown away, because it works. It's supposed to work. It has worked. It's still working. It's going to work some more. Like I'm telling you, this is the secret, especially if you want to do more as far as your career goes, as far as your life goes. Limit your social media. When you limit your social media, you'll maximize your success and creativity. Guys, thanks so much for joining me today. It has been an absolute pleasure. Talk soon. Take care.